All right, in the midst of doing previews, and we're going to be doing previews over the next little while, trust me. Um, I intend to have all 8 series previewed as quickly as I can, and I say that in that manner because some are going to take longer than others. But at the same time, there's other things happening, and if you're a Detroit Red Wings fan, Ken Holland has a chance to try to fix this. Uh, if the cap stayed at 75 million, next year the Red Wings have 18 million in cap space. Odds are it goes to 80 million, which means 23.1 million in cap space. So where are we at? Well, Zetterberg's under a $6.08 million a year contract till 2020-2021. Franz Nielsen, $5.25 million till 2021-2022. Nyquist, $4.75 million till 18-19. He's a UFA next summer. Abdelkader, that's the real anchor. $4.25 million until 2022-2023. I wonder if Ken Holland's first walking order is get rid of that contract. Darren Helm, $3.85 million till 2020-2021. And Luke Glendening, $1.8 million for the next couple seasons till 2020-2021. And then you get into the guys who have yet to be renewed. So you got Andreas Athanasiou, an RFA with arbitration rights. Dylan Larkin, an RFA. You have to think that between Athanasiou, Larkin, and Mantha, that's got to eat probably at least, I'll say, $7 million in cap out of that 23.1. Witkowski, $750K next year. David Booth's going to go as a UFA. Bertuzzi and Ferk are up as well. How much are they worth? The biggest thing that's held back Ken Holland in recent years is his loyalty to his team. And that's really weird. It's hard to say that. And it's hard to say that because in a time where loyalty is so hard to come by, he is loyal to his team. Now, while he's going to have probably $15 million in cap space to work with, he also has to replace Green, who's leaving as UFA. DeKaiser, $5 million until 2021-2022. Kronwall, $4.75 million until next summer when he leaves as UFA. Jonathan Erickson, $4.25 million until 1920. Trevor Daley until 2019-2020. Xavier Ouellet next season or next summer is an RFA with arbitration rights. Nick Jensen, $812K. He's UFA next summer, and Howard is UFA next summer. I didn't put Careau up here because I don't know if Careau is going to be in the NHL next year. But did they try to move Howard and then bring somebody else in? I put 4 prospects on the board: Chaluzki, Svechnikov, Rasmussen, and Sadoui. And honestly, if these guys on entry level contracts can make and stay on the team, and Svechnikov is the best chance, he has the best chance of making it. Then it helps. But I think where we're at with Detroit is if it's going to be a rebuild, some of these veterans probably go. Watching the Sedins this week and their exit from the NHL has me wondering when it's Zetterberg's turn. Zetterberg had a good season. So did the Sedins. They both ended up with 50-plus points. And considering they were on the 3rd/4th line for parts this year, it's pretty good point total. Zetterberg's putting up decent points, but how long until he says, "Yeah, I'm done"? Does he last until 2021? That's 3 more years. And Nyquist, what do you do with him? Does he get signed long term in July? Do you keep him around or do you move him out? There are some big questions for Ken Holland, and again, he's got himself into this mess. Now what's happened is ownership said, all right, we'll give you a couple years to dig yourself out. An interesting aside to Ken Holland signing long-term, and well, not long-term, 2 years in Detroit is this. If Seattle's joining the NHL in 2020, which all indications seem to be that they will be, then this means Ken Holland will not be the general manager for Seattle. Seattle will hire their general manager in 2019. He's signed through 2020. So Ken Holland is now out. During the season, I heard rumors he was going to up in Vancouver, insanity, and that, okay, now he's the front runner for Seattle. We had all assumed that Detroit would be moving on from Ken Holland. I think the Tatar trade helped save his job. The Tatar trade definitely freed up some cap space. It freed up about $5 million. And he picked up a bunch of draft picks. So whatever happens in this year's draft, whatever's added to this roster via this year's draft, and if you add Rasmus Dahlin to this blue line, it gets a little better. The biggest problem with this blue line is it's very expensive. And it's expensive. Like, these four guys make an average of $4+ million a year between DeKeyser, Kronwall, Eriksson, and Daly. It's a lot of money. And again, this is what Holland created. This is where Detroit's going forward. I'm not really doing this video as a Detroit end of the season. Where are they going from here? We can get into that a little bit more in depth when I do those. This is just strictly Ken Holland, and this is what he created. This is where they're at. And I'm not sure how he's going to fix this. Because he has to, A, decide if he can get rid of or buy out any of the contracts that are high up in value, and then B, how much is he willing to pay for the restricted free agents? Remember, it got kind of ugly with Athanasiou, and now Athanasiou's got arbitration rights as well. And you better believe Larkin and Mantha are going to be keeping an eye on that, as will Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi had a really good run at the end of the year. Was that just a good run, or is he a legitimate top 9 forward in the NHL now? These are questions that Holland has to answer. So I guess the question I have for Detroit fans is, he's got them to the promised land before. Do Detroit fans believe that he is capable of really running this rebuild properly? And what's going to happen from here? Because all indications from what Ken Holland said publicly in an interview last week is that he likes Blashill's job and what he's done. So my guess is Jeff Blashill isn't going anywhere. But again, let me know your thoughts. I'd be interested to know what you think. Renewing him for 2 more years is gutsy. The easy thing for Detroit to do would have been to move Holland out. And there are a lot of Detroit fans that would have been very happy to see it happen. But there are some Detroit fans that may very well believe in Ken Holland and the job he can do, even after signing some of these contracts, which are just anchors. But again, let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And again, this is just a very basic look. This isn't an in-depth. This is a basic look at what they're at, what they're up against for the cap, and how many spaces they have to fill with the money they'll have, and how many RFAs they have to deal with. And by they, I mean Ken Holland. Thank you very much for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and I'll talk to you again soon.